What's going on, guys? I'm Alexandru Don, and today I'm gonna take you behind the scenes on a music video that includes high expensive cars, really well-known musicians, and many more. So let's check it out.
Îți plac banii, dar nu de-aia mă iubești, recunoaște mami. Îți place așa de mult cancanul să te placă fanii. Bițurile toate sunt pe tine, vai mami, oh vai mami. Îți plac banii, dar nu de-aia mă iubești, recunoaște mami. Îți place așa de mult cancanul să te placă fanii. Bițurile toate sunt pe tine, vai mami, oh vai mami, oh. Diamante toate vin turnate, de câte carate ai, ea le vrea pe toate. E regina nopții, strălucește de departe. Rochie cât să-ți imaginezi, dar nu arată. Se numește artă și nici nu s-a terminat noaptea. Și de ea, poate joacă bine cartea. Și cumva, parcă vreau și eu partea. Și că sportul face bine, chiar ajută sănătatea. Îți plac banii, dar nu de-aia mă iubești, recunoaște mami. Îți place așa de mult cancanul să te placă fanii. Bițurile toate sunt pe tine, vai mami, oh vai mami. Îți plac banii, dar nu de-aia mă iubești, recunoaște mami. Îți place așa de mult cancanul să te placă fanii. Bițurile toate sunt pe tine, vai mami, oh vai mami, oh. Toți ziceau că e de moment, că o facem de antrenament. Dragostea ce mai sentiment, oh vai mami, oh vai mami, oh. Știu că ai vrea iubirea mea, știu că ai vrea, știu că ai vrea iubirea mea. Zi nu-i așa, dar nu-i așa. Îți plac banii, dar nu de-aia mă iubești, recunoaște mami. Îți place așa de mult cancanul să te placă fanii. Bițurile toate sunt pe tine, vai mami, oh vai mami. Îți plac banii, dar nu de-aia mă iubești, recunoaște mami. Îți place așa de mult cancanul să te placă fanii. Bițurile toate sunt pe tine, vai mami, oh vai mami, oh.
So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and now it's time to go behind the scenes and show you how everything went down in order to shoot this. One thing that I want you to know is that I was only a director of photography on this one, so the director was one of my friends, Daniel Cresta. He also has a YouTube channel, so I'm gonna link it down below. And now we're gonna go deep dive into behind the scenes and show you everything I did in order to make this work. And before we do that, I want you to subscribe to this channel because we're gonna be doing a lot more behind the scenes videos here, and you have the possibility to learn a lot from my experiences. So let's go behind the scenes. So one of the things that we did when we arrived to the location, which was not in my native town, it was around 300 kilometers from where I live, so we kind of had to drive there. And it took us like 3 and 4 hours to get there, but once we get there, we started with the things that we knew that we need to take, and that is drone shots. So I took out my Mavic 2 Zoom, which is the drone I've been using for quite a long time. I kind of have to upgrade to the new ones, but I was kind of waiting for DJI to announce something a little bit more pro than the Air, so I don't know. I'll guess I'm gonna have to wait and see or just upgrade to that one. But I was flying with the drone, and we got some establishing shots because the light was great, and we took advantage of that. So doing a few shots, everyone was quite impressed with my drone skills, I would say, which lately they are not so good anymore because I keep flying drones less and less, and I don't know why. It is a thing that at the beginning I was super excited about it, and now I'm less and less excited about it, so it's a little bit weird. But moving on to the things that I love the most, cameras, and what camera did I use and what lenses and all that. So as the title suggested, you already know that we use the Sony FX6 and the Sony a7S III. So on the 6, since was a shoot with a director, we had to have a wireless transmission for the client in order to see what we were filming and give directions. So for that one, we used a Dwarf Connection wireless system, and as lenses, we used the DZO Vespet Primes, which, as you already know, if you're old to this channel, this set is one of my favorite lens sets to use on set, so we used that. On the gimbal side, we used the Sony a7S III with a 16-35 with a variable ND on it and the DJI Ronin RS2. So it is a pretty simple setup. I always like to keep it simple, not complicated too much, and the setup worked great. Now, moving on to one of the first shots we did, which was kind of a scary. So we had like the latest model of the Rolls-Royce Phantom there, and that car is super expensive. It's like $500,000. And we just put the Tilta Hydra Arm on it, which was kind of a scary situation, but the owner of the Rolls-Royce said okay, just do whatever you want, and we did. So we put the Tilta Hydra Arm on it, and I put my Sony FX6 because we had this moving shots where he sings and we see him through the window of the car, and I really love these shots. I think there are expensive shots, let's say. You don't see these shots every day, so I was really happy we were able to get this. And one thing that I did, because it was sunny, then cloudy and sunny again, so I wasn't able to fix my exposure to a point that I was loving, and I was in the car with the MixPanel 60 lighting him up in order to have a really nice exposure and make things look good. So that was another sketchy thing, because you enter a car that is very expensive with a light that can potentially damage some of the car interior. So so far things were going pretty scary, but I think like nothing happened and it was okay, but still a pretty tricky situation. And at some point I even put my Nanlite MixPanel 60 on the window, on the Hydra Arm, which is something that I haven't seen with the Hydra Arm. So I think we kind of did some like a first here, or we did something new, I don't know, you tell me. But we put the Hydra Arm and the light through the window, and we had like this beautiful lighting coming in, so I was able to get shots from the inside of the car with the camera and my RS and make things look amazing. Moving on to the shots where I filmed some slow motions with the girl, and whenever I shoot 4K 120 FPS, I like to go handheld. It is pretty stable at 120 FPS, like whenever you film handheld at 120 FPS kind of looks on a gimbal, because the image is so slowed down. And I really love to shoot with a 50mm. I think it gives a really beautiful cinematic feel to the image and a really nice separation. And if you put a 50mm on a full frame camera like I'm doing right now, you kind of get like a 35mm feel on a Super 35 camera. So I love the focal length 50 on a full frame camera. A few of the shots that we did were not on the script, and we only did it because we loved how the lighting looked. So we kind of improvised something on the fly. I made some gimbal shots with Dorian and the sunset, and I think the camera held the dynamic range absolutely amazing. And even the focus, I was pretty impressed on how good the focus locked onto him, especially with having such a big backlight onto it. So I don't know if you guys know, but whenever you film with autofocus and you have backlight, the camera kind of struggles a little bit. But with the Sony a7S III and the 16-35, it was absolutely amazing. So well done Sony making cameras that have tech sharp autofocus. And now moving to the part where we filmed some interiors, and by now we were already filming for 4 to 5 hours, so we were kind of getting a little bit tired. And in this location I kind of had a few difficulties because I couldn't make things to look the way I kind of wanted. Like, there are times when you go to a location and even if you have all the lights in the world and all the possibilities, you still struggle to get the look that you want. You still struggle to get something that it's pleasing to your eyes, and that is exactly what happened here with this scene. Even though I put a lot of pavo tubes, a lot of lighting and all that, I was still not getting what I really wanted. So I just went with it and I prayed that I can fix it in post with some grading and all that, and it kind of worked. The lighting, when it comes to lighting, was really great because we used a lot of battery lights and we didn't have to struggle with cables or pulling cords around the set and all that. So just, if I didn't like what I see, I just take a light, put it in a different position, and it's that simple. So filming most of the stuff with a 50mm, I think it's super cinematic. And for the bathroom scene where he cuts his hair, I only used 2 pavo tubes, one from one side and one from the other side, and one side was daylight and one side was red. And I think we got some pretty interesting shots that look pretty cinematic here because the location was more easy to light. And there are quite a lot of situations where locations are way easier to light than other locations. And I think when you kind of get into a situation when you find a location that is hard to light, you're like using your whole brain to figure out how to do things because you're not happy with the results. But here on the bathroom part, I was really happy on how the image looked. Everything was all good. And then after he cut his hair, we came back to do another scene with them into the restaurant because there is kind of a story around it, and he is 2 persons at the same time, 2 different characters, and one is with hair and one is with the haircut. And if you looked at the music video, I'm pretty sure you understand the idea. Again, my FX6 looking amazing in this light. I really love how this camera looks, not only in terms of image quality, but also in terms of how the body looks and all that. It is a pretty good looking camera that you kind of see it on your shelf in the back and you just want to take it out and go film. Now moving on to our last scene. So we kind of wanted to make a scene at night with the cars and everything. This was not on the script, but I really wanted to shoot something because I like those music videos where people sing and the cars are in the back and there's really colored light and all that. So I did this here and I think it turned out pretty good. Still using pavo tubes and battery lights and all that. I was pretty lucky. I had with me like 6 pavo tubes, which I didn't use all of them, so I still had a lot of batteries. So I put pavo tubes around and I made this like super colored set that we shot with the Sony a7S III at night. I was in 12,800 and using autofocus, and I think the autofocus did an amazing job, especially on such a dark environment. Like, the lens is f2.8, so it was kind of dark even for 12,800 ISO, and I think the shots turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out and the autofocus, how good it worked, and the lights look amazing and everything is pretty cool. And also look how beefed up Dorian is. Like, who doesn't want to look like that? So of course he took his shirt off. Of course he was flexing a little bit his muscle because there's a lot of work in getting ripped. And I know pretty well because if you guys follow me on Instagram, I am on a fitness journey right now where I want to transform my body to the body that I always dreamed of. and it's quite hard because I was getting fat because of working nonstop here. And I said I want to change that, so I went from 90 kilograms to 75, and now I am going up with muscles. So hopefully I'm gonna be at least 50% on how good this guy looks. So anyway, yeah, this was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes video, and I think it was a pretty simple video, but I think you kind of learned from experiences, and me showing you this behind the scenes maybe helps you in some kind of a way. So if you enjoyed it and if you liked it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And until next time, stay tuned because I have more behind the scenes like this coming up. Maybe some of them more explanatory and maybe some of them more fun like this one. Cheers, guys.
Diamond.